Let's move on now to the Detroit Lions training camp preview, where we are going to break down the top stories of the camp season for the Lions. But before we do that, if you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also ring the bell to get notified when we create new content. We're doing a training camp preview for all 32 NFL teams, including every team in the NFC North. So if you want to check out what we feel are the top stories for the NFC North rivals, and also all of the weekly regular season prediction games for the Detroit Lions coming up throughout the regular season, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also ring the bell to get notified when those videos release. And Ryan, coming in here, we were really struggling on like what is like a specific story to focus on. And I just think kind of the theme of it all, and it's just, can this team just keep the momentum going from the second half of last season moving forward?
Yeah.
Nearly every single position, they improved on the offensive line. They did improve. Well, I mean, they maybe say status quo in the receiver in the receiving room. They're only going to miss Jameson Williams for 6 games now this season, and not like 15 or 16. So
Yeah.
they improved a bunch on the defensive side, especially in the secondary, where those are right free agency picks. So it's really, that's just going to be the thing, is how do all these new additions to just make the team better? Were they right additions? And then how much better does this make the Lions moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, starting with their draft, I was fairly critical of their draft on draft night. But then I think as we saw kind of the players that came in, I really liked the additions that they made. I think they filled a lot of really good spots. Starting with Jahmyr Gibbs, I think he brings a level of versatility and consistency to that running back position that they didn't really have with DeAndre Swift. I know they got David Montgomery in free agency, but Jahmyr Gibbs is much more versatile than David Montgomery. And David Montgomery is a true 3-down back, in my opinion.
Well, and so that's where it's going to be. I think they're really going to utilize Jahmyr Gibbs in the beginning of the season while Williams is out. But you can have 2 backfield sets, and then you can put Jahmyr Gibbs into the slot. Because you're right, with Montgomery back there, you're still like, he could go out for a route. He can be a touchdown guy, and he's really good at that. Now then with Gibbs, you have both of them in the backfield. Do they both go out for routes?
Yeah.
Do you want Gibbs in the slot? It's going to be interesting just to see how they utilize his talent as well, especially then too. And I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I mean, he was one of the best picks of the 2021 draft, if not the best pick. If you look at it as an overarching whole, what they got in the 4th round, like a day 3 pick, and he's one of the top receivers in the league. He's very consistent for Jared Goff to throw to. They did get Marvin Jones back. He's very old, so see how much he has to contribute. But I think he's just a good filler. I think he's going to be more valuable than DJ Chark was, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that's one area to watch is yes, Jameson Williams is suspended for the first 6 games. So, kind of what will those first 6 games look like? Because that's what hurt them last year. They went 1-5.
And my big thing too is where are they using Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Because David Montgomery, he's pretty limited to lining up out of the backfield, but Jahmyr Gibbs was running the wide receiver drills at the combine, and people were joking that he could have potentially been a 1st-round wide receiver in this class, and it was so that's just kind of funny to hear. And so I'm really interested in that. And then how does this offense kind of keep things going as a whole? Jared Goff had really hit a groove at the end of last season. Mm-hmm. And DJ Chark left. He didn't play a huge role last year, but I'm very interested to see what this offense does going forward and if they can continue to build on what they had last year. So I do want to talk a little bit about their defense and specifically the secondary. They made a lot of adjustments in the season and firing their secondary coach, which was kind of the turning point for their season. And then also in free agency, and then they addressed it again in the draft. So they got Emmanuel Mosley and Cameron Sutton and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, all really solid. Cameron Sutton and C.J. Gardner-Johnson should play should be starters for them. And then they also went out in the draft and got Brian Branch, who honestly that was their 4th pick, and I thought he was going to go near the top 10. So that to me is just tremendous value there. But with how aggressive that this front 7 can be, especially now that Jack Campbell is going to be their middle linebacker, it's really going to be interesting to me to see how good this secondary can be, because Brian Branch even as a rookie, I think will also start for them. So now your two starting safeties are Brian Branch, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and then you have Cameron Sutton, and then who's the other corner that they had that played really well last year?
Kirby Joseph, Emmanuel Mosley, Tracy Walker the third is their free safety.
Okay. I think it was Kirby Joseph was playing well for them. And so that's a really solid 4 guys in the secondary.
Yeah. Well, and then too, the thing that stuck out to me the most in the second half of the season was Aiden Hutchinson and that defensive line. And they really started to get after the quarterback, put a lot of pressure on. They went into the Giants game, I remember specifically, and gave them a lot of trouble. Shoot, the final game of the regular season when they played the Green Bay Packers. They were just constantly after Aaron Rodgers. And so I think if they keep making those improvements as well in the defensive line, keep getting that errors back. And I think to be on top of it when I see that and you see how the defense improves, I give a lot of credit to the coaching staff and not Aiden Hutchinson, Dan Campbell. He just seems like a guy that they just really enjoy playing for. I think he brings something to that team that they have not had in a really long time. And I think I saw that a lot on the defensive side of the ball because it was very easy for them to just ship it. It's whatever. Let's just try and get on the team next year. Let's try and get a contract out there next year. And he was able to get the best out of them over the second half of that season and almost made the playoffs. Almost made the playoffs.
Yeah, they were like a couple plays away from being the 7th seed. So,
shoot, if they don't give up 48 points to the Seahawks, because they put up 45 against them, and I was like, that's a playoff spot right there. So it is. This team's gonna be fun to watch. Outside the Falcons, probably a team that I'm personally rooting for to do well. I think a lot of people are rooting to do well. A lot of boring Thanksgiving afternoons over the past several decades watching them have to play football. So I think everyone kind of knows how bad this team is or has been. So I think everyone is secretly rooting for you guys. All Lions. Oh yeah, we're all going to be bandwagon fans with you this year, as long as you're not playing our team.
Yeah, but exactly.
If you are, if you're not, we're probably rooting for you. So
no, I mean, I really like Dan Campbell. I really like the team that they've put together. I'm also rooting for Jared Goff and kind of his career.
It's funny how people are starting to kind of write him off, they got Hendon Hooker. It's Hendon Hooker's 26. Jared Goff's only 2 years older than him. Yeah, I mean, and now we're seeing a lot of quarterbacks play into their late 30s. Jared Goff could easily be here. He could easily go sign a 5-year contract.
Definitely
worth $200 million.
Yeah, I think Jimmy G at 31 signed a 4-year contract.
Yeah, so he can absolutely take this team to the Super Bowl. He's already done it once with a team out in LA, and so I hope if he does do that Super Bowl with the Lions is much more interesting than that one. But
I like the end result. But
you did like the end results. I knew you would. And so imagine spending $3,000
to watch that
nosebleed seat to go watch the punters. That's pretty sad. Anyways, if the Lions do make it to the Super Bowl, I am confident the game will be way more entertaining. The coin flip will be way more entertaining than that. So, but. One guy to mention too, I don't remember. Did we talk about Sam Laporta?
No, we did not.
This guy, I really like that pick.
I do too, especially now with the Jameson Williams pick. One of the things too that is so scary. So Sam Laporta was one of the most explosive tight ends in football last year. Jameson Williams was arguably the most explosive wide receiver the year before that. And then you throw in Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown has been clearly the best slot receiver in the league. And Jahmyr Gibbs was the only weapon on Alabama,
in 2020.
In 2023, that was significant. And he still was fantastic. And so, I'm very curious to see what this offense looks like in Detroit. And I'm very excited to watch it. So
I would be more shocked if they regressed and if they were not people. That is kind of the point with the Lions. So they're going to be fun to watch. The training camp's going to be interesting to watch. I hope that they're are able to continue to keep improving. And so because we'll love to see them in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. But let's go ahead and wrap up the Lions training camp preview there. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you think of the Lions heading into the 2023 season. Do you think they're going to continue to progress and win the division and maybe a playoff game or two this year? Or do you think maybe they'll take a step back? Last year was kind of a one-year wonder, and we'll see them back at the bottom of the division. Let us know down below. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.